Time. Let's have a look at what is grabbing the headlines around the world. Papers flow continue to focus on the aftermath of last week's terrorist attacks in Brussels. Authorities coming under fire, really, for failing to pick up on warnings here that this attack was imminent.
That's right. Let's take a look at the front page of Le Soir, the Belgian paper, really lashing out against the police and justice in Brussels and Belgium. You can see they're talking about investigations full of errors, so many plurals there. Glaring intelligence failures have really come to light in the wake of the attacks. Le Soir, for instance, talks about the fact that the various intelligence services in Belgium don't actually have access to a unified counter-terrorism database. Not only that, they tend to prefer to work on their own and not join forces, and so this can explain why they failed to connect the dots ahead of the attack.
And almost to add to that, the only man actually arrested and charged by prosecutors over these attacks yesterday afternoon, he was released, wasn't he?
That's right. Lots of criticism once again in the papers today. Let's take a look at another article in Le Soir that talks about the release of the suspect, so Faisal C, the so-called man in the hat, released due to a lack of evidence. Now, this despite the fact that he was identified by the taxi driver who reportedly drove the commando to the airport. So, as I said, criticism and confusion in the press today.
Now, this weekend, of course, also marked by deadly terrorist attacks in Iraq and Pakistan. There's been some criticism over the West's reaction here.
That's right, or perhaps lack of reaction. Now, let's take a look, first of all, at another article, this time in the Belgian press. It's very interesting. This is La Libre Belgique, which is talking about the fact that there's been criticism about kind of a double standard. In the wake of the Brussels attack, for instance, the Eiffel Tower was illuminated in red, black, and yellow, the colors of the Belgian flag. And so this article wonders, why won't the Eiffel Tower be illuminated with the colors of the Pakistani flag? And in fact, a lot of people tweeted the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, asking her, why won't the Eiffel Tower be illuminated in green and white? Now, what's interesting is there are photos of the Eiffel Tower illuminated in green and yellow that have been circulating on social media. But if we take a look at an article in Mashable, actually, it points out that this photo was taken in 2007 during the Rugby World Cup. Now, a lot of people in Pakistan tweeted this photo saying that they were essentially tweeting their gratitude to France to show its solidarity, but this photo is quite old. So why do we respond differently to attacks that happen closer to home to those that happen further away? Very interesting piece here in The Independent that points out that we respond differently to attacks in Lahore or Ankara to those that happen in Brussels. It's not about racism, according to this article. It's about fear because, for instance, here in Europe, what happened in Brussels is very close to home, and it raises questions about our own security, and that can explain the bigger response that you see here.
Now, the Easter Sunday terrorist attack in Lahore in Pakistan, still front page news today. And you pulled out some of those pages for us.
That's right, because after all, this is getting a lot of media coverage. Just to show you, it's on the front page here of the Wall Street Journal. You can see these photos of victims in the hospital there. Very striking front page on the front page of The Guardian as well today. You can see the mother of one of the victims mourning her son. This is the editorial of Dawn, a Pakistani paper that points out that something has really changed in Pakistan since the attacks on Sunday. It points out the long fight against militancy has entered an even darker and uncertain phase. It really calls on action from the politicians, but also the military, and they need to work together, according to Dawn. So far, they haven't done so, and they've failed to keep the country safe.
And The Guardian's focusing on what lessons can be learned here.
That's right. What lessons can we learn from the attacks in Lahore, but also the liberation of Palmyra? That's another big story in the press today. Interesting editorial. There is a touch of hope in this editorial, it must be said. It said the attacks in Paris and Brussels and Lahore are not victories for the extremists. They are actually counterproductive because they increase the determination to deprive terrorists of the territories they control, like in Palmyra. And this article wonders if we could be reaching some sort of a turning point in the dismal cycle that we've been in. But as I was saying, the release of Palmyra has really been getting a lot of attention. Let's take a look at the front page of L'Orient Le Jour. It's a Lebanese paper that focuses on how this is a very symbolic victory, particularly for Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president. You can see this headline. It says, Assad can thank Russia and the Iranians for this very symbolic victory. And on that note, there's a very interesting cartoon in The Independent today. You can see here, it says The Guardian, but this is actually in The Independent. And you can see Vladimir Putin here propping up a a statue there and putting Bashar al-Assad's head on top of it.
Flo, thank you very much. Flo Villeneuve with the papers here on France 24. Just